Mini skirt on, dip my body in glitter. Platform sneakers, all the boys want a picture. Two foreign cars, I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby, I'm not going home with ya. Mini skirt on, dip my body
Hello. You're now tuned in to the A Little Bit a Lot podcast. I'm your host, Kristen, and welcome back to another episode. So glad that you guys joined me this week because it has been a crazy one with Love Island, and I am here to talk about it, okay? Oh my goodness, guys. It has been a little, I don't know. I want to say some of the episodes have been a little bit of a snooze fest, but then we had a little moment where we had Megan Thee Stallion come on. There's been quite a few things, Casa Amor, that I really wanted to get into and just share my thoughts and kind of chat with you guys a bit because it's been a lot, okay? Seriously, this season is unlike any other season before, and I was thinking that it was going to be like a season 6 2.0, but so far it has not proven itself to be that. It's worse. So we really need to get into it. And I'm just, want to just say that I am sorry to those who listen to my podcast and don't watch Love Island. I know that for the past couple of weeks, every episode has been about it. But it's I can't help it, Love Island is one of my favorite shows. And I just started watching Love Island UK this season as well because I watched the last 3 seasons of Love Island UK. And I forgot that UK was on at the same time as USA. So I'm tripping. I got to get into it. So I've been watching that on Hulu as well. But yeah, for those who don't watch, I apologize. But at the end of the day, I got to get my thoughts out and I got to chat with the girlies about all of this chaos because, it can really consume your life for those few weeks that the show is on because it comes on every day except for Wednesdays, So it's kind of all you really want to talk about. Even when my boyfriend is at work, he'll be texting me and being like, I can't wait for Love Island tonight. It's going to be crazy. If something crazy happens and we're just so excited to watch it again that night, it's that serious. Sometimes I'll be out with my sister and I'll be hanging over her house and I'm I gotta be home by 9 so I can watch Love Island. It's really, really, really about that. You know what I mean? So I would say for those who are watching it and you do listen to my show, I really think you should consider giving it a chance. I know the Hurricane Huda is a lot, but once you kind of get over that hurdle, the show is, really entertaining at the end of the day. So I would say give it a chance, But I have my thoughts here on my iPad, so I just wanted to get into it with you guys. And before we do that, if you're watching this episode on YouTube, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Go ahead and give this video a like. It really helps. And comment down below to let me know. What are you thinking about the season so far? I really like being able to get your guys' thoughts and opinions on your favorites, your not so favorites. What are you thinking about Casa this year? I really want to know. And subscribe. Your girl is now on her road to her first 800 subscribers, so I would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button because we talk about pop culture. We also talk about mental health. We just talk about a little bit of everything, hence a little bit a lot on the show. So I know that if you subscribe, you won't regret it. We always have such a good time over here. And I know that 80 to 90%, I think, when I looked at my analytics of people that watch don't subscribe. And I know it can be, a little intimidating to subscribe to a new podcast and really commit, but I swear, you're gonna love it here, okay? So just pull the trigger, hit the subscribe button, turn those post notifications on so you don't miss a thing and you can be with the gang. Also, if you're listening on Spotify and Apple, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Give this episode a 5-star rating and leave a review to let me know what you think about the show. So when it comes to Love Island, last week I talked about episodes, I think it was 6 or 7 through 14. I know for a fact I ended up off on 14. So the day that I'm recording it is Wednesday, so we don't have an episode obviously on Wednesdays. So I'm not going to be able to talk about tomorrow's episode, which is Thursday. That'll be episode 21, right? So today we're just going to be talking about episodes 15 through 20, with the exception of After Sun. I mean, let's be real. who's watching After Sun? Seriously, like I gave it a chance like the first season, but I kind of got tired of that real quick. And I just want to start off by saying that I really, really liked the first episode that we had with 15, where we got Megan Thee Stallion. Oh my goodness, I was so excited for this because Megan is just such a ray of light. She's so much fun, and I really think that she was like able to give the show kind of like the mood and energy lift that we really needed, because at that point we were still dealing with the Hurricane Huda of it all, and everything was just starting to feel so heavy and dark. And I think a lot of us were feeling like we were kind of like over the show a little bit at that point. But you know, having Megan Thee Stallion come on and just really give that energy and like be able to chat with the girls was such a cute little moment to see, seeing all of the girls so excited to see her. And also I think it was such a great, you know, marketing move for Megan and her team to make, because she just came out with her swim line. So the fact that everyone was able to see the swimsuits on the girls was such a cute moment. And I really love that Megan Thee Stallion truly likes watching Love Island, because if you're a real hottie, as soon as I saw her, I immediately knew like, yeah, she really watches this show, because she has a line in one of her songs where she's like, a real hot girl getting turned in the villa, or something like that, a bombshell getting turned in the villa. So you know that she has like a Love Island verse in one of her songs. And when she came on, you know, she quoted it, and I'm like, yup, like the tea, like the hotties know. So that was really exciting, and it was just so cute, like seeing her talk to Olandria and being like, girl, and Olandria's like, girl, what? You know my name? Like, that was so adorable. And her being like, girl, yes, I got screenshots of your booty on my phone. Like, what's the workout routine? And Olandria's like, girl, it's genetics. I'm like, I know that's right. Okay, she got stretch marks up on that thing, so you know it's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody knows Olandria's body is T down, face card on 10, never declining. I know that's right. And then I just really thought it was really funny how like she kind of like clocked Huda's T, but also like keeping it cute, because then Meg was like, girl, you be standing on 10 toes. She was like, I bet she had 20 toes that she's standing on all 20. I'm like, hegs nah. And then Huda's like so delusional, being like, she gets it. And it's like, girl, no. It seems like Megan Thee Stallion is equally concerned for you as the rest of us. So that was such a cute moment. I also loved, like, obviously when the boys were able to like finally get to see Megan, and I only thought that she was gonna hang around just for a little bit, but the fact that she was a part of so much of the episode was such a good, fresh, you know, twist to add onto the show. You know, she was able to host one of the games that they played, and they had like a twerking contest. It was so funny seeing the boys like trying to twerk. Some of them didn't, but like Nick, him twerking, Shelly, her getting up and twerking like on Megan. Of course, everybody was looking forward to seeing Olandria twerk, because whoa, you know, like she was turned up. And then of course at the end, once Megan was done, then she introduced the new bombshells, and we had TJ, and then we got Andrina. I think that's how you say her name. And it's like, of course, guys, like we have been saying for the longest time that they be playing the girls dirty on this show. When it comes to the bombshells, there's always something left to be desired with the boys. Like the boys don't really be bombshelling for real. And everybody's been saying we need a Miguel level bombshell. I think I've already said it before, but I'm gonna say it every single time I think about it, because there will never be a better team, like a more nuke level bombshell in the history of bombshells, badder and finer than Miguel, bro. Like, if you can't do that again, then it's like, what's the point of even having any more bombshells? Okay, because TJ, he's alright. I'm not here to like, you know, shame the boy, you know, or say he's ugly. I'm not saying that, but it's like he's just okay. And then Shelly talking about he is fine, and I'm like, where? Like, where? I'm trying to find the fine, and I'm not seeing it. But Andrina, oh my goodness, she is a bad teen, bad down to the bone. Like, what? The boys had it good, okay? Face card on point, body tea, like. And on top of that, she's an educated girly, like just finished college. She's smart. She seems really, really nice. and she was like, more importantly, already just showing that she was a girls, talking about how she was excited to get to know the girls. Like, love her down. But I just didn't really get like that great vibes from like TJ. He just doesn't really seem like the most friendliest. And then on top of that, like, not to jump ahead, but then like when the Casa girls came in and he was just like rating everybody's kiss like low, it's like, what the freak? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, what's up with this energy? I don't know. I just don't I'm not particularly fond of TJ and his aura and his attitude. I don't know. But overall, really, really loved that Megan Thee Stallion moment and her being able to introduce the bombshells. And I also love that in that episode, I think it was the same episode in episode 15, that Sierra was really keeping it honest with Huda about how, girl, like, to be honest, I almost voted you off. And I'm like, we stand a queen. I've said it before, but Sierra is really, really growing on me, and she is now officially my client. Okay? Because she's just such a real girl. Like, she keeps it real. She's so sweet. She seems like she's so smart. She's so great at communicating. She seems like she just has such a good head on her shoulders. She just seems like she's really kind. She gives great advice, and she just seems to be able to process her emotions and her feelings really well. And I honestly think that Nick does not deserve her. But I love how she was able to kind of like hold Huda accountable, but also keeping it cute and being like, yeah, girl, like, I almost had voted for you to get up out of here, but I believe you deserve love. I believe you deserve a second chance. So from now on, I really want to see you try, put yourself out there, step your cookies up before they crumble, and really go to work and turn your experience around. I know that's right. So I really, really love that. And I think that that really got through to Huda. I honestly thought that only a, licensed professional would only be able to get through that thick skull of hers. But apparently Sierra was able to get the message through, because shortly after, Huda really started stepping it up and trying to put her best foot forward in the only way that, in a Huda way that she can. And after that, she finally moved on from Jeremiah. I can't remember if I talked about it last time, where, when she finally did move on from Jeremiah. I just thought it was just kind of crazy how even in her last conversation, it kind of still gave manipulative, because she like told Iris to leave so she could chat with Jeremiah, and she's like, I'm not here to yell. And it's like, just because you're repeating like the same bull crap that you were basically saying before, but not yelling, doesn't make it any better. Like, you're still going in here, going off with this rah-rah, talking about how you're hurt, you're this, you're that, you're that. And it's like, it just comes from such a selfish perspective and point of view. And it's never once really considering how Jeremiah feels in this situation. And I really hate that for him. And I hate that for her, because it's like, to be that delusional has just got to be a lot, Like, what exactly did Jeremiah do to you? I'm just really wanting to know. Like, I understand that you may have felt like he love bombed you, and maybe he did, commit to being closed off a little bit too soon. But I still think that Jeremiah tried his best to give her as much grace and as much patience as he possibly could, considering all the factors of he had to keep, the baby thing a secret, her being a mom, and processing that, and the fact that he's never dated someone with a child before. All of that was a lot for him to take in. And then her continuously isolating him throughout the experience. Like, oh my goodness, it just really, I'm sure, was just a rough 2 weeks for Jeremiah. And I honestly think, then on top of that, with all of the name calling, and it's like her being upset at him about the recoupling, even though like he had no choice or say so. And the first recoupling, when he had to be with Iris, is like just crazy of her to like put that on him. Like, I don't know. But either way, I just still feel like even in the last chat that she had with him, before she like kind of tried to really fully move on, like still was pointless. But either way, after that, I really like how she at least tried, and she was pulling Pepe for chats, and she was pulling TJ for chats, and it was kind of cringe at the same time to watch. because I feel like her way of flirting is trying to be like, I don't know, sexual or something, rather than like actually trying to be real and like get to know that person. And like there's one point where they were talking and she's like, yeah, she's talking about the gorgeous view, and she's like, oh, because I'm here. And it's like, girl, no, like, I don't know. Like, it was just really hard, like, seeing her try to get on Pepe and TJ in that way, and seeing that, both of them were, like, clearly not interested. And I also thought that it was just kind of, like, cringe, because I can't remember if it was, like, Pepe or TJ that had the conversation with her and basically said, like, I don't want to lead you on. Like, I just want to let you know off rip, I'm not really interested. And she was like, oh, like, I'm, used to guys being obsessed with me really fast. And it's like, girl, why would you say that? Why would you say that? And then she's like, oh, can I ask why? Like, if a man is telling me he's not interested in me, the last thing I would literally give a single crap about is trying to figure out why. Like, that doesn't matter. Honestly, the why is not even any of your business. Okay? Because at the end of the day, it's their loss if they're not interested in you. And you need to just keep the dignity that you have, put your chin up, chest back, and just keep it pushing. Like, what do you mean, why? Hudda. Like, that was kind of ridiculous to me. But anyway, we also had the other bombshell, Audrina. I really felt like the short amount of time that we got with seeing her connection with Jeremiah was really cute. And I think that it was really interesting seeing Ace continuously be salty about Jeremiah. Because, like, we literally have an active moment where, like, Jeremiah and Audrina were, like, having a chat. And then you have, like, Taylor, Ace, and Nick being like, what do you guys think about that? And then Ace is just like talking crap again, being like, once again, I think Jeremiah is this, and the other. And it's like, bro, like, I'm still kind of confused as to what exactly Ace has against Jeremiah. But obviously, a lot of people have theories where they think that Ace just feels away because he was initially attracted to Huda and was not able to get access to her because Jeremiah pulled her and had her closed off so quickly. But then again, it's like, that's on Huda, not Jeremiah. So I think it's like misdirected, like, anger on that moment. And then of course, like, another bad teen comes into the villa with Audrina, and then like Jeremiah snatches her up again. So then Ace is like 2 times thoughty. That's the only like reason that I can think of why Ace feels so strongly about his like dislike for Jeremiah. Like, it's so confusing. And then he just keeps saying like he's not, playing the game the way the game should be played. And I just really feel like that is just like a crap excuse for your reasoning as to why you don't like this man. Like, Jeremiah can play the game how he wants to play the game, just like you have a right to be able to play the game how you want to play the game. Like, I'm so confused. Like, Ace really thinks that he's running things in this villa because Taylor and Nick then follow suit into everything that he says. And it's really just cringe to watch. But at the end of the day, like, I'm just glad that for the most part, Jeremiah, in the short experience that we got to have with him, he didn't seem to let Ace and his minions like affect him too much. So I'm like, okay, prayer. I also felt like it was a little bit annoying. I wrote down that Austin was continuously complaining about Amaya. Like, Amaya Papaya. Like, guys, enter the chat and let me know if you're feeling Amaya Papaya. Like, who's team Amaya Papaya for real? Let me know in the freaking comments on YouTube or Spotify if you're team Amaya Papaya. Because at first, I had talked about how I wasn't really feeling her because of how she was having her chat with Shelly and kind of like coming at Shelly about Ace. But at the end of the day, I do get both sides of that argument. And now that the beef is squashed, it's just really been really nice to be able to get to see more of Amaya's personality and see that like she's actually just, a really fun girl and she's really sweet. And I understand that, when you're in the villa, those feelings and those emotions are high. And once she was able to kind of like relax and kind of get through her like rough patch with Ace and then focus on more of our connection with Austin and like calm down a bit, it's just been really, really nice. Like all the different Amaya like moments that have gone viral with like her singing, and she just seems like really, really sweet. And I would love to have a friend like Amaya. And I truly just think that the reason why Austin like can't handle her is because one, he's freaking Austin and he needs to go. At the end of the day, why is Austin still in this villa? Why is Jeremiah gone home before Austin? Like, I cannot believe that this Trumpy is getting away by the skin of his teeth and still able to be in this villa. Get him out of my villa. Like, what? Jeremiah going before Austin? Are you freaking kidding me right now? A Michigander Trumpy? Because then I remember I saw a clip where Austin was talking about being from Michigan, and I'm like, see, it's all making even more sense, bro. Like the fact that we learned that not only is he a Trump supporter, but he's also from Michigan is a double doozy, because to those who don't know, I'm from Michigan, and it's really tough out here for the Democrats. Because they really want this to be a red state, especially after this last, voting with them getting Trump in the office. The Trump supporters in Michigan go crazy. They're a different type of breed. Like the fact that I live in a predominantly like white city, and sure, there's still lots of black people here, but there's like even more white people. And then like the city that's right next to mine is like even more white. Like I will literally drive 10 minutes up the road and there's a Rite Aid that had closed down and it's now like abandoned building. And the Trump supporters, I literally would pass by to like go to Walmart and they were out there like doing rallies for Trump, like 10 minutes away from my house. Like I literally will drive around, like go to the store, go to the mall, and in my neighborhood, Trump signs, Trump flags in the yards, in the lawns. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy out here in Michigan, especially like there's a lot of like sundown towns in Michigan as well. And the Trump supporters are like turned up out there. So it's a little scary out here for your girl, but it all just makes sense. It all just makes sense with him being a Michigander. He needs to get the freak out of Fiji. I know that. So that really kind of just made me sick. I can't believe he's still here. And the fact that he can't even be grateful for the goodness that is Amaya is kind of crazy to me. Like, yeah, she may seem like she's a lot, but she's a lover girl. And at the end of the day, she's such a sweetie. And I don't really think that she means any harm. And I truly just think that it's kind of like Kenny and Janae from last season of Love Island USA, where it's like, she just needs a Kenny. She needs a freaking Kenny, and we haven't gotten a Kenny yet. And I think that's the problem. Like we need someone that's going to be able to love her in the same way that she loves. And I don't think that she's too much. Of course, I think she's just enough. But the boys here already just aren't really like even trying to be serious about finding connections for real. It's obvious. Like they said, like Shelly said about Ace, like they want to be Dora the Explorer and just messing around with every single girl and not really like locked down for real. So of course when you got a girl like Amaya, it's gonna seem like it's too much. Like, skip you, Austin, okay? He's such a chop. Then we also have Casa Amor. Casa Amor happened, and I just really feel like Casa this year is not hitting in the same way that Casa usually hits. I feel like normally Casa feels like it's more of a high stakes situation for the couples that are kind of more locked in. But since everyone is like a lot more open this year and they're all still kind of just playing around and talking about they still want to explore, I can see why production made the decision that they made to then just say, okay, skip it this year for the first time. Everyone at Casa is going to be single and you're all going to recouple. But I still don't love that decision, but I understand why they did it. But I don't really like it, And I think that out of all of the Casa girls, I like Coco the most. Like, she's such a bad teen. She seems like she's really nice. And for the boys, I like Chris. And I also think that, what is his name? JD, I think. He seems really nice. I'm kind of concerned as to why he's interested in Huda after seeing what she like tortured Jeremiah with. But he did say that like she seems like she's taking accountability for, you know, her actions so far. So I think maybe he's just willing to give her another chance. And I think it was also sweet that he made Amaya breakfast since she was single, and her and him having that little chat where he kind of validated her feelings and told her that like she's not too much and, you know, she can be herself was like really sweet. And the fact that it made Amaya cry just made me so sad, because I know that, you know, she just seems to be really overwhelmed by this experience. And, you know, these boys are making her seem like she's crazy or like she's too much. But it's like, that's not the case, sis. Like, they just can't handle you. And that's nothing. That doesn't mean that something's wrong with you, you know? Also, I'm also not surprised by the boys voting Jeremiah off, and the fact that they voted him off and didn't even really give him a valid reason just makes sense. Because, you know, we all know that at the end of the day, like, Ace was the one that was in charge of this decision. Let's be real. Like, Ace said he's got to go, and everybody was like, okay, yeah. Because we know that Ace like never really cared about Jeremiah since day one. And it's just crazy that like they kept telling him like, oh, it's nothing personal, it's nothing personal. But it's like, sweetie, yes, it was. Every single thing about you voting off Jeremiah was exactly that. It was exactly personal. And then it's crazy how Ace should be happy, right? After voting Jeremiah off, he's like, okay, this is my number one op. It's a one-sided beef, mind you, but at the end of the day, Ace is like, okay, Jeremiah is gone. You think he'd be happy. You think that Ace would be happy, but instead, he still spent the whole night being irritated and annoyed at the girls for voting Hannah off versus getting rid of Amaya. They're like, why didn't you guys get rid of Amaya? Why Hannah? I'm so confused why you guys chose Hannah. You know, because like me and Amaya, you know, we're just two different people. So how come you didn't vote her off? And it's like, okay, who gives a flying freak about how you feel about Amaya? The decision was up to the girls, and the girls chose to keep her. So suck it. Like, what? Like, why? I'm just so confused about like what he has against Amaya so much. Like, why do you hate her guts so bad? Like, you really felt so panini pressed that she got to stay when you should just be dancing in victory at the fact that you finally got rid of Jeremiah for no reason. Like, please. He's just too much. And it just kills me that Shelly is still in Casa continuously thinking about this man. I know she's been, you know, enjoying her time with Chris, but at the back of her mind, she still keeps bringing up Ace. And I'm like, girl, forget that man. Forget that man. Like, what? Like, I'm so confused. Other than a pretty face, what does he really have to offer? He really gives a bunch of nothing. And his chats, if we're going to be honest. I also think that after they voted Hannah off, and like Hannah was crying and like packing up her stuff in the dressing room, and her saying that she didn't want to talk to the girls who just voted her off, was so real. Like, girl, I'd be feeling the same type of way too. Like, and I know ultimately like y'all have to make a decision, and unfortunately it's me, but I still have a right to like be in my feelings about it, because at the end of the day, it's not a good feeling. It's not a good thing, you know, especially given the fact that she had her connection with Pepe. So that was like gaggy, but at the end of the day, I'm glad that Hannah stood on business. She was like, girl, I ain't got nothing to say to y'all. And it just really sucked. Like I said, seeing Jeremiah go, because I feel like once he was like able to be free of the Hurricane Huda nonsense, we were finally able to like see his real personality. And, you know, we know like from his social media, like he reads books. You know, we learned that like he grew up, and he said, I think his uncle, he said, had a comic book store, and he likes anime. So it really seems like there's like an actual interesting side to him and a fun side to him that we were only able to like just get a inkling into. And then he gets like voted off from Ace and them. And I really wanted to be able to see his connection with Adrena more, but I guess we can't get that. And I also think that, you know, Nick wanted Jeremiah gone as well, so that way he could get to know Adrena more. But I just think that ultimately that's kind of messed up, because like Adrena don't really want you. She don't really want you. She wanted to get to know Jeremiah. So like Nick is just being delusional. And then on top of that, he turns around and has sex with Sierra and then turns around and looks her in the face the next day and he's like, yeah, I know we did what we did. And, you know, love you for that. Thanks for the cooch, but I still want to get to know other people. Like, what? Like the type of time that he was on in that conversation after being physically intimate was just so diabolical to me. And the fact that Sierra was like, hey, I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, I don't really like it. I don't really like it because at the end of the day, I'm feeling you. And I'm starting to think that I'm feeling you more than you're feeling me. I also gave you a piece of this. Okay. We got intimate. And that's still not enough for you to kind of like want to close off, you know, be closed off. And I'm telling you that I don't really like the feeling that I get seeing you, you know, going crazy and exploring your connections with these other girls when I feel like we really got something real. And he's just like, sorry, you're free to explore connections. And she's like, I don't really want to though. I don't really want to though. And he's like, well, I ain't got nothing else to say. It's like, girl, I just can't with Nick. And then the fact that he had the audacity to get mad at her for getting mad. Like, I feel like Sierra had every right to feel some type of way. Here I am telling you that I don't really like seeing you with all these girls. I don't really like being in this situation because I feel like we really locked in for real and you don't want to lock in for real. And then when I go to bed and I'm mad and I don't really want to cuddle you, you turn around in your confessional and say that that was kind of a red flag. She has a right to feel upset about this because you're on big BS. Nick, you're playing games. You're playing in her face. Like, that was so ridiculous to me. So, yeah, at the end of the day, I said it before, Nick is a Pisces man. So, am I surprised by his antics with Sierra? No. But disappointed? Yes. I also hate that, like, when we were, you know, getting into the nitty gritty in Casa, that Sierra and Alandria were both like, ugh, I miss Nick, I miss Taylor, I wonder what they're doing. But not one time did you see Taylor or Nick be like, I miss Alandria, I miss Sierra. And like the fact that like two of the Casa girls wanted Taylor, it's like, what are you guys seeing that we're not seeing? Because at the end of the day, I'm not saying that Taylor's ugly. You know, he's cool and he's nice enough, but I don't really think that the conversation that he gives and the energy that he gives is enough to have these two Casa girls wanting to go for him and enough to have Alandria kind of sprung the way that she sprung. Like, I don't know if Alandria just likes Taylor so much because of like the cowboy aspect of it and like she's in love with kind of like the idea of Taylor than actually what Taylor offers, or if there's just something that we're not seeing. Like, why do you like Taylor so much? I'm really confused, Alandria. Like, what? And then, of course, at the end of episode 20, Alandria and Nick got voted off. And I personally think that voting off the Islanders during Casa is like crazy, crazy, diabolical, like mentally ill work. I was literally sick once Alandria got voted off. Like, I do not want to see her gone. Then I think we had learned that she's also an eldest daughter, so it's like it makes sense the way that she carries herself and she behaves. Like, eldest daughters unite. Okay, we got to stay strong out here. And like seeing her like be so strong, you know, when everybody else was crying and she's like, it's okay, is like so oldest daughter core. And like she didn't cry until she was like alone with like the camera guys and it was like, I really want to be in love, y'all. Like, I really want to find love. And I'm like, oh, Andrea, no, like we want you to find love too. And it's just crazy to me because like then when Nick gets voted off, Taylor is crying, Ace is upset. In the back of my head, I'm thinking, do you think that Taylor would cry like this with Olandria getting voted off? Or when he learns that Olandria got voted off, like what would his reaction be? I don't think it would be the same as his reaction as Nick, but that's just my opinion. But that was an interesting thought that I had. But yeah, I was pretty sick about Olandria being gone. Didn't really care about Nick being gone because at the end of the day, like, he really ain't worth Nan. But at the same time, for the sake of TV, he probably had one of the funniest personalities out of all of the Villa boys. So I would miss that. The Mamacita moment. Like, he's funny. But Olandria was the one that had me, like, really bent up. And, like, Huda wailing about her being voted off was, like, so funny to me. But I'm like, no, it's real. Like, it's really that serious when we stepping behind Olandria. When it comes to Olandria, everybody in the club needs to be crying. Because what? Like, we can't lose this gem. And it's, like, so clutch that production realized, like, wait, I don't think we should send her home, and I don't think we should send Nick home. And just when he thought it was over, we have that moment where Nick is walking off to go be dumped from the island. Olandria pulls up in a black truck, opens the door. Nick, come on. Nick gets in the car, they drive off. Oh my God. I have chills thinking about it right now. So now we can only assume that Nick and Olandria are actually going to be safe and they might be able to go back to the villa. Thank God. Because it would be interesting to see, more of Nick and Sierra's connection and see if she's like, okay, I'm done with your antics and she moves on or not, which I hope she does. Fingers crossed. And I really want like maybe another bombshell to come in and Olandria's head to turn so she can kind of just move on from Taylor. Like, I don't know. But then it's like every little moment that we get with her and Taylor, I'm like, I love them together. Because it's like when Taylor acts right, it's so cute. They're so cute together. But it's like, is it enough? Is it enough? I don't know. I don't think so. So I don't know. That's what I'm just hoping. I'm just hoping that we get another bombshell and then Olandria can kind of just like move on from him. Because I'm just thinking that it might not be enough, Taylor. I'm sorry. Love you, boo. Like, kisses. But you can have them Casa girls, okay? We need something new for Olandria. So I'm just hoping that tomorrow night when I watch it on Thursday, we get something good. And people were like, imagine if it's like Jeremiah, the one driving the black car. I'm like, I don't know, y'all. I don't think that they're going to bring Jeremiah back. Like, he's already been doing his, like, interviews on podcasts and stuff. So I think it's over. I think it's over for real. But yeah, so those are my thoughts so far on all of the episodes of Love Island up until episode 20. And also, I got my favorite thing of the week. I know that in the beginning of the podcast, for those who have been listening that long, I would do favorite thing of the week. But I often, like, forget about it. But this week, I have been, like, really turned up and hyper focused on Totally Spies. I have been watching Totally Spies again. I think I've, like, mentioned before how much I love Totally Spies because I bought the game on my Switch a couple months ago and I still need to finish that game actually, but like I got to a part of the game where it was kind of hard and I'm like, I can't get past this. So yeah, I need to finish that. But they have a Totally Spies YouTube channel, and on the official YouTube channel they uploaded every single episode, I believe from every season from what I could see. So I'm starting from season 1 and gonna work my way down. And for those who don't know, they just rebooted the show again. So they have a brand new season of Totally Spies, I believe, that's on now. And they uploaded some of the new episodes. So I started watching one, but I'm also gonna like go back and like start from the beginning and like watch the old episodes. Because so far I'm not really feeling the feel of the new show. Like, getting used to the new animation, I'm like, getting used to the new character voices, I'm like, like when Jerry comes on screen, Jerry doesn't even sound like Jerry. I'm like, guys, hashtag not my Totally Spies. I don't know what's going on. You know, maybe they're trying to appeal to the children a little bit more with this version of the show, but it just feels too different. So I'm thinking I might just stick to what I know and just, you know, just rewatch the old seasons. But yeah, if you guys are into that, the episodes are up on their channel for free. So watch it while you can. I'm hoping that they stay up there. But yeah. So yeah, that's my favorite thing of the week. I don't really have any other like things to talk about with like pop culture, things that just been kind of dry lately. And I also haven't really been tapped into like really anything other than like the couple of shows that I watch and like Love Island for real, because, you know, I've been traveling and also I've had like a lot of stuff going on. You know, last week, Juwan, my boyfriend, got his tooth pulled. So that has been just kind of like a crazy couple of days, because we all know men can just act like big babies. Like, love you now, babe, but you have not been handling this situation well at all. I've gotten my right and left wisdom tooth pulled at the same time once before. And then like the year before last, I got another tooth pulled in the back and I survived, but he is acting like he just like is gonna die without being able to smoke. And then on top of that, like the first few days, him not being able to eat solids, he was just acting like he was just gonna die from like hunger. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna be okay. And then after that, my little sister, Jayla, my boyfriend's sister, she had her open house. So once again, congratulations to you, Jayla. Love you down. This was my first time like being a part of an open house where I had to like actively help rather than like it being some like distant family member and me just showing up. So I was a little bit nervous about that just because it's like, it's my boyfriend's family. So, you know, you always want to like make a good impression and just be useful. And I think because of my like trauma with my family, I'm so used to like everything I do like not being good enough, like with my grandma that I'm no contact with. So then I just automatically assume that like everyone else is going to treat me that way, even though I know that's not the case with his family and that it's a safe space. So, you know, a lot of like mental work has to go in to like hype myself up and like make sure that I'm telling myself like, you're going to be okay. And it turned out great. The event was so beautiful. I was in charge of passing out punch, and we also had to pick up the chicken. So we picked up the chicken, and then once we got there, we had to help his grandma, you know, unpack a couple things from her trunk. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to be in charge of the punch. But then once we unpacked the stuff from the trunk, then his mom's like, okay, set up the rewards table. And I'm like, huh? Like, I didn't know that I was going to be responsible for like other stuff too. So me and Juwan had to like work on the rewards table, and I was a little bit stressed because I'm like, I know that I'm really good at like decorating and like interior design, and like before, like at other family events, I've been in charge of like the charcuterie board and, you know, plating the fruits and stuff, and it always looks really nice. But this is like my boyfriend's family, so I'm like, I don't want to mess it up and like everybody be like, oh, Kristen did a bad job, which I know they wouldn't, but I was still like, my anxiety was just like, what if? So we end up setting up the rewards table and, you know, putting her money box on the table, and it ended up like turning out really cute. The table was so cute, and it was like really satisfying once the open house started and seeing everybody like walk up to the table and look at it and seeing all of her accomplishments, you know, laid out. Was just really, really cute. And I love that his mom had like such a great idea with having like a mannequin next to the table where she could like put the gown on and her cords and have like that on display. So that was really nice. And my boyfriend was also in charge of being the DJ. So he had a playlist ready and connected to the Bluetooth, and we were able to just like have our station be behind the bar. And thankfully, like within the bar, like behind it, the bar was like its own little room, and it had like an AC unit in there. because guys, the heat wave that's been going on has been like crazy. It was like 97 degrees that day. So even though the event was like indoors and it was like cooler inside than it was outside, when we were in the area within the bar, having that extra AC unit in there also helped like even more. So we were like extra cool behind the bar. So we pulled up 2 chairs and Juan was able to be close to the Bluetooth so he could do, make sure that his playlist was playing and everything was good. And then I was in charge of the punch for the evening. So we mixed the Hawaiian punch with that 7-Up, got the drinks, and I just made sure that the drinks were constantly, filled up and the cups were ready for people to grab throughout the evening. And it was cool. It's just something about an open house, or like either an open house or a baby shower when you have the meatballs. Bruh. And it was crazy because my sister Jayla, she loves meatballs, and she was like, that's my one request. Like, I ain't really want to have this open house for real, she said, but if I was going to be forced to have one, I wanted barbecue meatballs at least. And I'm like, yes. Like, ooh, the meatballs were good, I tell you that. Swedish and barbecue with some fried chicken and some corn. Girl, I smashed. And they had a marble cake. Marble cake is my favorite. So you already know I was turned up, bro. Boyfriend had the music like litty. It was a good time. So glad that went well. So that's just really what I've been busy with. And then now that everything is kind of like settled down with like traveling and my boyfriend's better and the open house is done, I think, now I'm going to like focus back on thinking of more stuff to talk about on the show, other than Love Island with you guys. So if you ever have any topics that you guys want me to discuss, feel free to let me know in the comments or on Spotify in the comments there as well. Or you can even DM me at A Little Bit of Loud Podcast on TikTok and Instagram. Make sure you go follow. And while you're at it, follow my coloring page at Coloring with Kristen on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. The coloring content has been doing really, really great. So I appreciate everybody that supports me with my creative endeavors over there as well. So like I said at the beginning of the episode, if you're listening on YouTube, give this video a like, comment down below, let me know your thoughts on the episode, and subscribe. Turn those post notifications on. And if you're listening on Spotify and Apple, rate that 5 stars and leave a review. And with that, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Cause I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby, I'm not going home with y'all.